I'm Lane. I stood frozen holding Cheerios while my phone buzzed, thinking, I'm failing at everything at once. It was 7:43 on a Tuesday. The Cheerios were for my kid, who needed breakfast. The buzzing phone was for my boss, who needed a report yesterday. And I needed a portal to another dimension. My feet were glued to the kitchen floor. It was like my brain just blue screened. One hand had the giant family sized box of cereal, the other was clutching a phone that felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. And in that quiet, stupid moment, surrounded by crumbs and the cheerful morning sun, I just knew I wasn't doing a good job. I wasn't doing a bad job. I was doing nothing. I was failing at all of it simultaneously. That wasn't even rock bottom. That was just the welcome mat. The worst part? I couldn't tell anyone. Have you seen the internet? Moms are supposed to be grateful. Blessed. Heck, so blessed. We're supposed to be holding a baby in one arm and an artisanal loaf of sourdough in the other, smiling serenely. My public face was very different from my private one. I'd post a picture of the kids laughing in a pristine park that I spent 45 minutes yelling at them in the car to get to. I'd caption it, making memories, while internally I was just making a list of all the ways I was screwing them up. Complaining felt like a betrayal. Admitting I was drowning while everyone else was apparently having the time of their lives? No, can't do it. So I just kept smiling, kept posting, and kept telling everyone I was just a little tired. It's the parent code for my soul has left my body. The kitchen paralysis wasn't rock bottom. Rock bottom is always quieter, isn't it? Mine was in my car. I'd just dropped the kids at daycare, and I just sat there in the driver's seat in the silent parking lot for 20 minutes, car off, just staring at the steering wheel. I eventually drove home, and later that day, my kid did something, spilled juice, I think. A totally normal kid thing. And I just snapped. I yelled. Not loud, but sharp, ugly. And I watched my kid's face just crumple. The way their bright little eyes filled with confusion and hurt. And the real rock bottom, the thing that still makes my stomach clench, I felt nothing, just air, a vast, terrifying emptiness where a feeling was supposed to be. That scared me more than the anger, the nothingness. That's when I knew something was broken. That emptiness was the real alarm bell. It wasn't the yelling, it was the void afterwards. Staring at my child's devastated face, I had this one crystal clear thought cut through the static. This isn't who I want to be. It was immediately followed by a wave of pure panic. But I don't know how to be anyone else right now. And that's the trap, isn't it? The person I was had become someone I didn't recognize, someone who could hurt her own kid and feel a terrifying blankness. The shame from that moment was suffocating. It became this huge, heavy secret. How do you tell someone that? How do you say, I think the part of my heart that's supposed to love my child has gone offline? You don't. You just get quieter. You isolate yourself even more. The shame keeps you stuck. There was no lightning bolt, no single moment of clarity. It was more like a glacier melting. For months, I just kept functioning on the outside and dying on the inside. The secret was getting heavier and heavier. Then one night, after putting the kids to bed, I was just sitting on the floor of my closet because that was the only place with a door that locked, and I finally admitted it, not to anyone else, just to myself. Just a whisper in the dark, surrounded by shoes and unfolded laundry. I cannot do this alone. 3 years of pretending, 3 years of I'm fine, and it all came down to that one brutal sentence. Pretending I can is hurting everyone. It didn't fix anything, but it was the first true thing I had said in a very, very long time. Saying it to myself was one thing. Saying it out loud to another human being? Terrifying. I practiced it in the shower, in the car. Finally, I cornered my partner in the kitchen one night after the kids were asleep. He asked if I was okay, and the fine was right there on my tongue, ready to go. But I swallowed it. I took a breath and I just said the script. I'm not okay, and I need help. I remember he started to say something about the laundry or the dishes, and I cut him off. No, not with the kids, not with the house, with me. The look on his face, it was shock, but it was also relief. The next week, I sat in my doctor's office, and instead of saying, I'm just tired, I said, I feel empty all the time, and I scared my kid, and I'm scared of myself. The silence was officially broken. So I started therapy. Not the tell me about your mother kind, but the super practical, here's a worksheet on how not to spiral into oblivion kind. And I, being me, decided I was going to be the best at getting better. I was going to win therapy. My therapist suggested I try mindful moments, 5 minutes of just being. So I'd announce, Mommy is having a mindful moment now, and go sit on the floor. Within 10 seconds, one kid would be using my back as a ramp for a toy car, and the other would be trying to see if a crayon worked on my yoga pants. It did. Then I tried I statements. Instead of stop screaming, I'd say, when you scream, I feel like my skull is full of angry bees. My kid just stared at me and said, what are angry bees? I was trying so hard to apply the rules, I sounded like a wellness robot. It was a complete cringy disaster. It was right after the angry bees incident. I was cleaning crayon off my pants and feeling like a total failure at therapy, too. Another thing to add to the list, I was thinking I had to choose. Either I focus on my mindful moments or I focus on my kids. It felt like they were competing for the same tiny sliver of energy I had left. And then, standing there with a stain remover wipe in my hand, it just clicked. It wasn't a lightning bolt, more like a light bulb flickering on in a dusty room. My mental health and my parenting aren't competing priorities. They're the same priority. Taking care of myself is taking care of my kids. Letting myself fall apart is letting them down. It's not selfish, it's structural. You can't build a house on a crumbling foundation. My brain was the foundation. That realization changed the goal. I stopped trying to win therapy and just started trying to survive the next 10 minutes. The wins got a lot smaller and a lot more real. One morning, instead of just gritting my teeth through the chaos, I knelt down and said, Mommy's brain is feeling a little scrambled today, so I need you to be extra gentle with me. And my kid, he just nodded and gave me a hug. That was a win. Forgiving myself for a frozen pizza dinner because I just couldn't cook? Win. Texting a friend, today is awful, instead of spiraling alone in my head? Huge win. It wasn't about weekend retreats or hour-long meditations anymore. It was about stealing 3 minutes on the porch to just breathe. Healing, it turns out, happens in the cracks, 5 minutes at a time. So here I am, years later, still wearing a stained t-shirt, still with my hair in a bun. I had a hard day last week, actually. The difference is, now I don't have hard days in silence. I'm back in the kitchen. The phone is buzzing. A kid is asking for a snack. The scene is the same, but I'm not frozen. This time I put the phone on the counter, face down. I took a breath and I looked at my kid and said, okay, one thing at a time. What snack do you want? I'm not fixed. I don't think fixed is a real thing, but I'm not broken either. My kids don't have a perfect mom. They have a mom who is learning to ask for help. A mom who shows them it's okay to have scrambled brain days. They're not watching me pretend to be unbreakable anymore. They're watching me bend without breaking. And I think that's a much better lesson. If you've ever been frozen in the kitchen, or the car, or anywhere else, you're not alone. Drop a comment if you get it. I actually read them. And if you want more messy, real stories like this, hit subscribe. We're all just figuring it out here. It's fine.